Hello and welcome to this special edition of Omni Edition Garden City. I am your host, Dan York, and with me now is Patrick Sloan, a contractor to the City of Garden City through McKenna Associates. And we're going to talk about the housing rehab program. First of all, introduce yourself to the people of Garden City. What is your exact title here, and how long have you been with us and with McKenna?
I've been with McKenna for about 5 years. I'm a senior principal planner with McKenna Associates. I've been working with the Community Development Block Grant Housing Rehab Program for a little over 3 years now, and in community development for about 6 months now.
Okay. And when we talk about the housing rehab program, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's money that comes from the government through the city that we use to help people rehab their homes.
That's correct. Every year, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, allocates so much money to communities across the nation. Some go directly to communities, some go through counties. In Garden City's case, our money goes through Wayne County, so every year the city gets about $150,000 each year for community development block grant projects, most of which goes to the housing rehab program.
Okay, so people can make some significant improvements to their home with that. Now, there is a limit as to how much money one person or one household can receive, right?
There is. There's a maximum project limit of $25,000. Eligible repairs include roofs, furnaces, windows, any interior repairs, sometimes siding, sometimes concrete, barrier-free accessibility repairs, and other types of repairs like that.
Okay.
There are income qualifications, so someone would have to qualify based on income, and they would have to live in the home.
Okay. And those income qualifications are available on the City of Garden City's website, as is all of the information that we're going to discuss here. So if people want to know more or just follow up and research this more, gardencitymi.org is the place to go to find out this information.
That's correct.
So really, a single person in a home, what's their cutoff?
A one-person household, the income limit is $36,200.
Okay.
So anybody making under that amount is eligible to apply to the program.
So that's not just, they call it low to moderate income, but that's generally moderate income. I mean, that's not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily be low income to qualify for this program.
That's correct.
Okay. How do people go about it? Because the city runs it mostly for the individual, even though the county manages the money to us. The city and more importantly you manage this program for the individual if they qualify or even before they qualify.
Right. So there are many ways to get the application. The application is available at City Hall. Somebody can pick up a hard copy. It can be downloaded from the city's website. And we're available at different times during the week to sit down with people if they want to go through their application, through their paperwork. They can call the Community Development Department anytime to work an appointment, and we'll sit down and go over everything with them.
Okay. Now, this information is all confidential, so if someone's uncomfortable about the concept that their records might be part of public information, this is an instance where they're not.
That's correct. The information that's given by applicants is not subject to FOIA because much of it is personal and sensitive. The files are confidential. All of that information is kept confidential.
Okay. So if someone does qualify for improvements to their home, the city then is responsible for finding bidders and finding a contractor to do the work, correct?
That's correct. Once the scope is complete, we have the building inspector go to the home and walk through and come up with a project scope. Look for what the homeowner is asking for in addition to any code violations that may be there. Once we have the specifications and the application is complete, we'll send the information to Wayne County so that we have authorization to bid it.
Okay.
Once we do bid it and we pick the lowest responsive bidder, it doesn't mean the lowest bidder. The lowest bidder could be not qualified or non-responsive, or the references may not check out, in which case we go to the next one. So we competitively bid it for the best price.
Okay. So it's, again, people don't have to worry about it's just the low bid. The person that is the lowest responsible bidder is the one that's going to be doing the work.
That's correct. That's correct. And the amount of the construction activity is put on as a lien on the home. That's one of the first things that we tell applicants is that this is a program where it puts a lien on the property, so we want to be transparent ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Some people are uncomfortable and they don't go no further, but other people, when they hear the explanation, they'll go ahead with it. It's a 0% loan, so throughout the life the loan is there, it's 0%. There are no payments during the term of the loan. and it's only paid back to the city when the person no longer lives in the house. So years later, if they sell it or move out for any reason, only at that time would they have to pay the money back.
Okay, can they pay it back in advance of that if they choose?
They can if they would like to.
Okay.
Some people do that.
Okay, but there's not a big benefit to the homeowner for doing that because it's a zero interest loan.
That's right. Not unless they're looking to get rid of some debt and they just don't want to think about it or pass it along.
Right. So once the process starts, once the remodeling starts, whether it's a new furnace, whether it's windows, whether it's water pipe work, whatever it is, the city is the kind of the management of that project, right?
Yes, we will oversee the contractors. If there are any disputes between the contractor and the homeowner, we intervene and we resolve those disputes. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting certain scopes correct. Sometimes it's a case where if the contractor is not performing, we can go in with the building inspector or with a Wayne County CDBG representative to correct the problems.
Sure, and obviously it has to be up to code as a part of the process.
Absolutely. All contractors, they pull the same permits that any other contractor in the city would.
Okay. And the homeowner isn't even responsible for handling the money. The contractor is paid directly?
That's correct. The homeowner is not obligated to pay anything during the process. They're encouraged not to. We tell the homeowner that the transaction for the money side of it is between the city and the contractor. There's no application fee for the homeowner with the city, and when the contractor is due to be paid, that's a transaction between the city and the contractor, so the homeowner does not have to put any money down.
Okay. Is there an average amount of repairs that normally get done on a successfully, or not a successfully project, but on a project that it meets the criteria and someone who meets the criteria? Is there an average amount of money that's normally spent?
Most of them are between 10 and 15,000. Some can be as low as 4 or 5 if it's a roof or a furnace, but sometimes it's more than one thing, and things that have just not been done for a while. And because of some of the advantages of the program, sometimes people need a furnace today, and maybe they were waiting another year or two for a roof, but while they're in the application process, they may want to be proactive with some other repairs and get those made.
Okay, very good. So communities around us, Wayne County is the go-between, I guess. They're between the federal government, HUD program, and us as far as the distribution of the money. Now, we fall under the category of being managed by the county because of the size of the community?
Yes, most smaller communities, those communities that are typically under 50,000 people, they are what are called subrecipients, which means that the county oversees the subrecipients. And it's a way for smaller communities to be eligible for HUD CDBG funds. Otherwise, it would go either from the state directly or to larger cities. So it's a good program for smaller communities to go through the county, and the county handles many of the compliance-related tasks with HUD.
Okay. And as far as communities around us, are there many communities that take advantage of this program?
Many do. Many have their own housing rehab programs. Many of our neighboring communities, they have a housing rehab program that's much the same as ours.
Mm-hmm. Percentage-wise or numbers-wise, how do we rate as far as applying this program to people and how much money that we use for it?
Garden City is one of the biggest users of funds for housing rehab, both in a dollar amount and a percentage amount. It's been a long history of the city to make housing rehab available as a priority to residents so that if they need help with a housing repair, that money is available.
Okay. So if people want to know more about this, other than going on the website and checking, what's their next step?
They can, in addition to the website, they can call us to talk about what their situation is, what they're thinking about doing. We can walk through the application steps and the eligibility, walk them through the project. Sometimes people, they're not sure about the process. They're not sure if, they're, with all the different scams out there, they want to make sure it's legitimate. So sometimes just talking to them over the phone or meeting with them at City Hall, that's our official place of business, it puts them at ease and let them know that it's a long-standing program. Many communities do it, and it's been successful in the city for many years.
Okay, so we're looking for more end users, if you will. We're looking for more homeowners in the community that want to take advantage of this.
Always. The city has put a high priority on making sure that program is funded and available to city residents.
Okay. Well, Patrick Sloan, I want to thank you very much for taking time to be with us, and I hope you get more folks to take advantage of this program, and it's only a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for watching this edition of Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York. Good night, everybody.